Welcome back, everyone. We have reached the final 9 holes of the 2021 North Umpqua Invitational at Whistler's Bend. I would say this is one of the elite B-tiers, elite events in the Northwest and in Oregon. Very prestigious tournament to come out and try to capture. You get all the good players from the region that want to be here. So thanks to Flight Towel, Upper Park Disc Golf, and Resistance Discs for sponsoring the coverage today.
Yeah, we come in through 18 holes of the second round. You've got a little bit of a lead. You're hanging on, though. You just had that double bogey and a couple pars to follow it up. Chris is 3 back, looking to make a move down the final 9 holes. We'll see what he can do.
Yep, I am Scott Withers. I'm here with Jeff Korns. If you have not watched any of the other coverage, you're jumping in super late. Go back and watch the first 5 videos because they are 27-hole rounds. Zach starting off on hole 19, 400 feet, plays probably in like the 430 or 440 range with how uphill it is. I'm going to try to go Z-force on a big hyzer up over the road, and it's okay. Right at the base of the hill, leaves a tough like 40-footer with probably some bad footing.
Yeah, don't quite get the swing left you were looking for. You can see that rock line up by the baskets just about circle's edge. So anything up on that last little plateau, you are inside circle 1, and Chris with a nice skip. He's up there. He's got a birdie look.
Yeah, to hit short and get up over the rocks. That is the Taylor Coulomb Special, Emperor, I believe. If you look in Chris's bag, half his discs used to be Taylor's. Taylor, if you're listening, stop buying discs and giving them to Chris. He has his own money.
No, Chris is sponsored now. He doesn't need all of Taylor's discs. I'll just take all of Taylor's wonderful Discraft discs that he always hooks me up with. Taylor's the man. He's always got the cool stuff.
He does. I think he spends every paycheck that he's got on discs, and then you can always tell because the signature's across the front of them, and you're like, that's a Taylor disc. We know where that came from.
Oh, we've all probably got a Taylor disc in the bag. I know some tour players that have Taylor discs in the bag as well. Like I said, Guy knows his plastic, and he likes good stuff.
He does. Chris tapping in birdie and getting a little closer.
That really skipped up there. I was thinking 25-footer, not like park job.
No, park job. And now you see the rest of it, or Brian and I at least are like, these aren't tap-ins. The same thing we were talking about hole 17 a little bit ago in the last video. Like, this section of the course is always a little bit breezy. There's nothing behind the baskets. Depth perception's kind of weird, and even like the wheels are a little loose right now for me in this round. And I think I was pretty scared of like this putt, even trying to make par to move, on to hole 20.
Yeah, Brian just had that missed short putt on 17, and like you said, this area is exposed to wind, so you don't want testers. You want to keep it easy.
The background that Colin for CH Sports uses makes it look so green and so nice out here, and it is when you get down by the river, but man, when you're walking around this course in the heat, it seems like that river is miles away.
Yeah, it seems like it's just this dream in the background. Chris pulls that a little bit, but that should
if it
play.
Comes back though, it's still good.
Yeah, that looks like about the right amount of speed, right amount of distance. This basket is perched on the back hill that you're kind of slowing down. You got the ace on this one in round 1. Go check that out. It is Colin's first ace he captured on CH Sports, I believe. And
unfortunately, it's blind, so you can't see it go in the basket, but you can see the flight. And I'm going back to the Malta on this, and that is a complete whiff into the trees on the left.
Yeah, you got to throw the Malta firm, but I know your choice of Malta, trying to get that ranged distance control, not go too far. Brian, a little bit of a pull again.
Yeah, he doesn't like this, but he's going to get up there and not be as bad as he thinks.
That work for you? Yeah, that works for me, bro. Right,
yeah, I'm going to guess he's more just a little, again, like we said, student of the game, maybe just a little disappointed in the form, not what he expects out of himself.
What are the odds that Chris and I think Zach's discs are on top of each other when they get down there?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
It might have been Brian's. I don't know. Look at the wind, though. It is picking up. And at this point, if it's going to do this for the rest of the round, birdies are real tough to come by for these last 8 holes.
Yeah, like all these holes down the stretch are pretty exposed areas of the course. So, as you said, you're going to have to keep these approaches close if you're not already close to the basket. And
All right, so it was Chris and Brian's discs that were on top of each other, not Zach's. I couldn't tell who the second person was, and apparently somehow I stayed out of that.
And you got banned and into the basket for the birdie.
Let's go.
Yeah,
A little sloppy.
Needed that one.
Yeah.
Just give yourself a little bit of room. Oh, we got a slow-mo replay. Let's see it. Nick the band.
Okay.
All right,
yeah.
Pretty clean.
Yeah. One of the big, I would say, the biggest tips that I could give putting-wise, great putt by Zach there,
wow,
to any new players is regardless of what style you're going to putt, you can see it in these slow-mo, like when he slowed it down. If you want to be a good putter, you have to reach for the basket, and your arm needs to be fully extended after release, like reaching for the pole or reaching for the band or whatever you want to focus on. I think Brian's a good one to watch, and we've talked about his putting off and on a little bit. He has that full extension where his arm really goes right to the pole. But that's a big key for putting. No matter if you want to spin putt or push putt, you got to reach for the pole every single time.
I agree. Paul Ulibarri always gave me the piece of knowledge to get to your spot. Get your arm up there, keep it there, and then see where, if you miss, where your miss was, and adjust from there.
I like watching, I like watching everything Macbeth does because he's, right, the greatest player we've ever had in our game probably. He holds his arm up for such an extended period of time after he throws the putt. It's almost like, hey, I'm going to reach and I'm going to hold it up there to make sure that I reach, and I think that's something new players could learn a lot from.
Yeah, I think it's something that you kind of hear them talk about in like NBA players, is holding up your follow through and just making sure that stroke is clean. Don't rush that. Don't like jab it to the spot and be jerky with it. Just clean, smooth stroke.
Wow. I was lost at this point. I'm not going to lie. On hole 16, when I lost my nuke, like that was the distance driver that I'd been throwing on all these holes, and I get up here and I had a very overstable Z-force that I don't think I can get there, and then I had this very flippy ESP, one of my custom Tour Series forces that we ran with resistance, and I was stuck in between the two on distance shots, and man, I tried to throw that soft to get it to glide, and this is probably the worst shot I've thrown on this hole in 5 years.
Yeah, you left a little bit of meat on the bone to get up and approach the basket.
I'm throwing full zone in where last round I got to tap in. So, there's a pretty big difference in result there.
Yeah, this one's long. Like we said, it's almost 500 feet. Slightly downhill, I'd say. And we got some long looks. Some guys giving it a bid, but this hole averages just slightly over par. Because like we said, par is pretty easy to figure out on this hole. If you do, put one plenty down and play.
Yeah.
But, you got a couple of outside birdie looks with some of the more elite distance players. So birdie's in play, but you're going to probably see a couple more bogeys.
Yeah, I'm stressing over this little 23-footer. As you can see, the grass and the sign on the basket blowing a little bit. It's not like we have, crazy high winds or anything, but it's just enough to be in your head.
Yeah, good par cleanup, especially after kind of turfing your drive. And we see everyone else cleaning up here. Only 2 birdies on this hole. Nicholas Skark, not familiar with the name, but yeah. DJ Harrington picking up the birdie. He's a power thrower. He launches the disc. So good birdie by him and Nicola.
Yeah, not surprising that DJ's there. I'm not familiar with Nick's game. We move into 3 holes now that are way more technical holes than anything else, but they're not easy. 22 should be a hole that people are wanting to get birdies on. It is, I would say, a forehand for probably 75% of the field if you right-hand it and have this shot, and you're trying to come in and land, 15 feet right of the basket and hope that you don't take much of a skip, but you do have to get over that log that you can see on the ground.
Yeah, I like this hole after the previous hole because we just had 3 holes where you're out in the field, even more than that. We've been out in the field for probably 5 or 6 holes, and now we just come back from ripping distance drivers to bringing it right back into control with slower discs. And it really challenges your pace and how you're playing the game.
This place is special. The layout's great. It's not easy though. It's a very professional level course, and there's little things to it. And I know that if you look on like disc golf scene, you see some of the reviews of like the signage could be a little better, or the front nine baskets could be a little better, or whatever. But there's a lot of thought that have went into where certain holes go out here and how they play. And the idea, when I know that the Whistlers kind of Misfits group, as they're called, with Josh Gosnell and some of the others leading the charge down there, when these holes went in, there was a lot of thought process that went into like, let's make this course a professional level course. Like, we want this to be a destination course for people to come to, and we want it to challenge every aspect of a player's game. And boy, does it ever do that.
Absolutely. I mean, the views are spectacular. Like, that's just enough for me to want to go out and play this course, regardless of what the holes look like. But it's championship caliber, so it makes it even more exciting, more entertaining. You know, like, I'm going to put this course on a high pedestal right now and give it kind of like a West Coast Maple Hill, with the kind of views you're looking at, the signature shots you're throwing. Like, you talk about Maple Hill having signature hole after signature hole. Like, it's hard to choose the best hole on that course. And this is one of Whistler's. Like we said, there's a couple holes where like, oh, this is a signature hole. Oh, this is also a signature hole. This one is, you know, beautiful. And, you know, you see it everywhere here.
We're going to jump right into hole 23. This 250-foot hole plays 3.3 strokes on average. And there's not necessarily much in the way.
Yeah, you're going Z flex machete on the big outside line. And the theme of Whistlers continues. This basket is perched on the edge of a cliff. If you're 15 past it, you are going to be 20 feet below the basket almost, down this little slope. And if you're 10 short, you're right where you want to be. You're even with the basket. But Chris over there is going to have probably a layup at the position he's sitting at.
The worst thing you can do on this hole to me is leave it 60 short or 70 short. Like, I mean, obviously if you hit one of the trees early or something, it can be worse. But the layup shot from short is so dang hard. You would rather be down the hill every single time. And Chris, smartly, even though he's trying to compete for the win and like needs to pick up some strokes, this isn't the place to try to do it.
Not at all. This is, as you can see behind there, treacherous green. You can easily blow by if you miss the basket and end up 40 plus from the basket.
Oh, both days. Hitting chains from down below and not getting it to stick.
And you can see here the ground does not lay up well either.
No, that's one of the hardest parts, and the video right now is not doing it justice, but 12 feet from this basket is a 20-foot straight drop-off.
Yes.
And that's down where I was putting from, and you have to take the long walk kind of back to the top. I'm not mad when I par this hole, but man, when you get right at the bottom of that hill, and I know the basket target is super small when you're putting that far uphill, but to me, my miss needs to be off the back of the cliff, and if I can stay like 22 feet from the basket, even though I'm putting 20 feet uphill, like that's where I want my drive to end up, kind of.
Yeah, for sure. You'd rather not, have a comebacker from down the hill than on top of the hill.
Yep. 24, this is one of the original Whistler's holes. Multiple options. You can go backhand straight at it if you want. You see some players do that. The most common play is going to be the forehand or the lefty shot out wide. And if you don't quite have what you think is the power, you can go kind of an inside flex forehand. This time of year, you can play it quite a bit wider and get the skip. However,
Found the layup zone.
that's the layup zone, as I vocalize.
Yeah, you kind of got a straight skip rather than the right skip you're looking for.
Yeah.
Chris just a little too inside.
But that's the line. Like, if you really want to park this hole, he just needs to be a foot lower or a foot left of where he was, and that's how you really can get one up inside 20 feet on this.
I like the lefty backhand potential on this hole, but Brian's just going to leave this a little too wide to get all the way back right.
Yep, which means layup 100% of the time from there. So we don't have any putts at this, honestly, not. I guess if Bryan and I had to have it, we could be in a situation where maybe we could try to make it, but it would not be smart. Chris and Zach back here are just in full layup zone. Chris, I believe that's a pig, so it's pretty soft when it hits the ground, but that might be gone.
Yeah, Brian's making the smart call just to pitch this one into the basket.
Yeah, even from here, the worst thing you can do sometimes is half go for a putt.
Yeah, I would have, that situation, I'm pitching that putt up. I'm eating that bogey. Like, there's no, you're not playing for the win. There's no point in dropping yourself down a couple dollars in cash to have to do this to come back.
And you saw both Chris and Zach get a little aggressive on a shot. Well, Zach was a little hesitant on a shot. Chris got a little aggressive on his upshot, and they're both going to deal with, a 4 for Chris and a 5 for Zach. If you're going to try to make the putt, and this is in all situations, it's got to be 100% commitment. If you ever stand up to a putt and it's not in your mind, you're not like, I'm going to bang this, then putting it in the ground is the best thing to do.
I 100% agree with you there. You're opening it up. You got 4 strokes. It's just a few to play.
Yeah, Chris and I have been pretty flat. I got off to that really hot start being 6 under through 9, but as we talked about when we were kind of starting the middle 9 coverage, I've done exactly what we were talking about, which is like, it just hasn't quite, nothing's really connected, and this is a miss too.
Yeah, you haven't closed the door yet. I mean, you got 4 strokes with 3 holes to play. Like, Chris is going to have to, birdie out and hope that you make one mistake to really push you. And there could be other players out there making a charge on some other cards, but you're in the driver's seat right now to control your destiny in this round, really.
Yeah, as long as I go par, realistically, I'm probably fine. But it isn't the best feeling walking off a course, win or not win, when hey, I played so well for the first, let's say, 36 holes of this tournament, and through 36 holes I was sitting at like 19 under par on a really tough course, and that's 1050 to 1060 golf. And then for the last 18, Whistler's is really hard. Like, I got a little flat, threw some shots that weren't great, had that one lost disc that resulted in a double bogey, which was kind of unfortunate, but it just, like, at this point, I'm thinking, like, it's hot. I'm almost done. God, let me go sit in the river for a while.
Yeah. Oh, good bid there from deep.
Brian, I think fatigue has hit this card, and it does every card. I mean,
yeah,
back-to-back days, and a lot of these guys played practice rounds on Friday out here also. 3 days of heat and sun and outdoors the whole time, because we all camp for this event. Like, it's easy for the energy to get zapped out of you a little quicker.
Yeah, we're at 52 holes right now coming down this stretch. you've seen all the elevation. We know this is in the summer. Like, it is a grind. Like, this is a physically demanding tournament.
Yeah, we do see some age-protected divisions take a little longer to fill, or like the FA1 field doesn't always reach capacity for this tournament because of how hard the golf is and how hard physically it can be for some of the older divisions to, really, we send them out early in the morning for a reason, to try to keep the heat down on everyone. But we move into hole 26. This is really your last birdie chance, 310 feet. Forehand skip shot like this is perfect. I actually hit the gap this time. There's also the backdoor high hyzer. You can see the wind whipping. Chris is going with a buzz that is currently in my bag because he has switched over to Innova. So thank you, Chris, for that. I'll take all your good buzzes.
Yeah, you got some real nice throwers from that guy.
Yeah, we just happened to be with him when he got the announcement, and this was obviously before he could even say anything to anyone. We happened to be there, and I was like, all right, well, let me go through your bag real quick.
Yeah, we both snuck out a couple of things from him. We're like, thank you for your time. We appreciate your wonderful taste in discs and keeping these safe. We will take those now, and we'll send you some nice Innova throwers for you to play with the next year.
Yeah, I think it worked out for everyone. I gave him a really sweet star stud that he throws a lot that he donated to the lake out at Sandy M Open last weekend, though, so I know he was hoping I had more.
And that's a good birdie down the stretch. This one's yours. We know there's some other people making some charges, like I said, but there's still too much separation for them to make on you at this point with one hole to play. And that's a clean birdie to get, a good feeling one.
Yeah, it was really the 13 under first round that won this tournament for me. It wasn't too much what I did in the second round. It was just having that clearance from everybody else, and it allowed, the 8 under round, which I'm at 8 under through 26 holes here. It's not bad. In no ways is it like a bad Whistler's round or whatever, but it allowed for an average to okay round instead of having to go out and light one.
Yeah, and you also did have to make other players push by coming out hot through this start with 6 under through 9. Chris had to make decisions in the later half of this round, being more aggressive or less aggressive on some situations, just to, keep it close to you and keep pushing it.
Does that force look familiar? This is one that you gave me during the Resistance Discs Open out at Trojan. I believe it was straight out of Page's bag at one point. So it was a super stable ESP force that I had in my bag.
Bad throw.
Yeah, I have never got that disc to get any sort of movement right. So, you throw far. We kind of got a little move on that disc.
Yeah, I need to find it. It was in my bag for a while. I don't really know what I did with it. It's in my spare room somewhere. I need to get that thing back in the bag.
Oh yeah, that was a money force, and I remember I was sad to let it go, but you needed that overstable force more than I did.
Yeah, and that put it to good use for a good portion of the summer, too. Brian turns his straight into the ground. Chris, this is what you want to see on this hole if it gets any comeback at all.
Come on, baby. That's a full distance shot. Getting it out there.
Yeah, kinda. That's not a great angle over there. You would rather, if you're going to throw it a long way and not be straight in line with the basket, left is definitely better than right. Brian with a pretty good second shot there from way back. I feel like there's more gaps on the left, but this, to me, is one of the best pro finishing holes. Maybe it's a little too long, but you don't see a ton of twos on it. Man, it can be a nervous hole coming down the stretch if you have to make a par, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're just going through the routine here, getting up and down, minimizing, getting saving the round rating, we'll call it at this point.
Great par by Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris looked like he was maybe giving that a little bit of a bid to give us some check-in on other cards out there. Cole Redon actually just birdied this hole to go one up of Chris, so he might have been giving it a little bit of action, and Chris missing that putt. He's going to fall into solo third.
Yeah, I think he had check scores and kind of knew where we were at, and then when he didn't make the birdie to tie Cole for second, it's easy to mentally check out at that point and not focus on that last putt and let it sneak out the left side. But this is one that there's a few tournaments a year in the Northwest that I mark on the calendar as one that's really important to me and one that I want to come out and play well at. And this is definitely one of them. So to be able to pick up a 4 or 5 shot win, even if it wasn't super pretty on this last day, you can go back, sit down, get yourself something cold to drink, and kind of relax for a few minutes and take this one in.
Yeah, go float that beautiful river. As you can see here, you got 6 strokes clear of this card, 5 strokes clear of the next closest person to you in Cole Redallen. But as you said, you called it ugly. I know that the round wasn't to your taste and how you wanted it to come out, but a 1042 rated average on the event is nothing to be ashamed about. That's a great rating average at a B tier. And we got a solid field up at the top here.
Yeah, that's kind of what it takes in the Northwest, though, to pick up wins. You don't cheap into any 1,000 rated wins or 10-10 wins. There's enough players in the area. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you, CH Sports, for getting out and covering this event, and we will catch you guys all soon.
Hey guys, Colin here with CH Sports. I just wanted to give a huge shout out to my coverage sponsors. These videos would not be able to come to life without these people's help, so I really appreciate it. There's plans starting as low as $3 a month, and every single dollar helps grow the channel. If you would like to see your name or business listed in the credits of every single one of my videos, please head over to patreon.com/chsports.